Rise versus F&I matchup, and we're about to get into that tiebreaker on Exhibit. It's going to be a fun one to watch, and any of those teams could in fact move forward. You saw a couple 1-0s down there on the bottom. I think Reciprocity was up 1-0 themselves, so they might be moving forward. So bracket is going to be stacked in semifinals, you got to believe, but we're already tied up. This has been a kind of a factor between these two. They've been going for pound, round for round. They're tied up 1-1, and Rise is going to be down 3. Down currently, Drix and Inzum now trying to keep Fire and Ice at bay, and Inzum's going to lose his life too, as that's still, once again, 3 down. Look at the respawn economy on both sides.
Players just chucking their lives at everything in sight from the looks of it. Of course, we're heading towards the very last round of the first half. It is Fire and Ice leading 2-1. We're going to take a look at what's on the map so far momentarily, and let's take a look at the scoreboard. You just see very, very balanced, right? 12-11, 10, 12-11. Just great teamwork from this Fire and Ice team. We can't say it enough. They've looked like, except for their last Pro League match, outside of that, they've looked like a completely new team after picking up Exploits, who, to his own credit, has been playing so well since joining this team. And on the other end, Inzem, top of the leaderboard as well. Of course, the other new pickup on the other end. Let's see how they choose to answer back.
Trying to gauge how much of an upset it would be if F&I takes over this victory right over Rise, knocking them out first round.
Looks good to me.
Rise, when that roster changed, they came out guns blazing. They 2-0'd NRG in week 6, took over the victory, but now with the potential of being eliminated in first round, but a good start from Inzum. Crystallize, Choche, as well as Exploits will in fact drop, and that opens up Rise Nation. Look how deep they are into the spawn of F&I. They're going to be on Alpha. They're not careful here, though. They get counter-wiped. F&I, they could push through and retake control over the hills and map presence, and seems as if they're going to be doing just that. Rise Nation absolutely get wiped out.
A couple downs coming through. The eliminations are going to be picked up. Of course, we are on very quick spawns, given that we are in the last round of the half. Members of Rise Nation choosing to back up. When it comes to that top fight, Detox, he's going to be dropping. Can they get the full elimination? He got not able to grab it. Drix tries his best to help his team. He ends up falling to Raver now. As you take a look at the numbers, currently favoring Fire and Ice. This is definitely what we call a swing round, Taylor. Extending that lead to 3-1 would be so big. B-God gets one. Looking to make it a second. Hits him with that knife. Grabs the Micho at the very, very best opportunity. Gets a hold of his reload. Now Fire and Ice continue to build that lead. You look at the respawn economy on each side. You're going to see a lot of 2s over to the right, couple 1s. And a lot of 1s over on the side of Rise Nation. They need to be careful not to have any of their players kind of permanently out. Inzem's going to push, which is going to end up being 2 members of Fire and Ice up top. I think he notices that now, but Fire and Ice, they are there on the pinch. I love the teamwork I'm seeing out of this Latin American squad. As the new star of Rise Nation falls up top and on the bottom side of the map, you see them continuing to build that lead.
And I love, Ryan, that F&I backed up. They didn't get overly aggressive and try to go for that trip cap, right? They backed up, they maintained composure, and they allowed Rise to spawn back up, of course, and then push in. In the end, it seems as if it's not going to be worth it, as Beacon and Choche are, in fact, going to drop. But regardless, though, that was a good backup plan, I think, for F&I.
Yeah, and Rise Nation still has plenty of time to gain that lead back. You see the win condition at the top of your screen. They are still absolutely in position to win this round. And you see now Raver finds himself on 0 respawns, as are Drix. Still plenty of opportunity for the COG team to tie this up. We call this a swing round. What we mean by that is this is kind of the rounds that can potentially swing the map in one direction or the other, right? You can see if Fire and Ice were to win this 3-1, just the stranglehold again. We only played to 5 rounds now, so they're able to get that 3-1 lead just from a mental perspective, just from obviously a scoreboard perspective. That just seems so much more commanding. And on the flip side for Rise Nation, you want to bring this to a tie game, right? You want to end that first half tied up. Looks like they're trying to get on their way to doing that. Raver is permanently out of the map. Choche the King getting involved, hitting a beautiful full spread on the Detox. That should give him the B hill. And Fire and Ice, they still have the lead. You're going to see Inzem making the big play, hopping on to A, but the King has hopped on A. Or, sorry, has hopped on to B, and now Exploits wins the fight over for A. So this round should go in Fire and Ice's favor. Nothing that Rise can do. And when it comes to the 2 ways this could swing, things just definitely swung in Fire and Ice's favor in the first half.
And this has been a slugfest between these two guys. You go back to District, it was 5-4. Rise narrowly took a victory. You go to Asylum, map number 2. It was 5-4. Fire and Ice took over the victory after coming back and winning the last 2 rounds in a row. I think maybe even the last 3 rounds in a row. Exhibit now another slugfest, but F&I, they have the lead. Respawn Economy got a little bit scary on both sides, but now we're back to 0-0. Everybody's going to have 4 out of 4 lives. And F&I, very much so in the drive seat. You mentioned the swing ground, right? Didn't go into the hands of Rise Nation. Fire and Ice, don't let this opportunity go to waste.
Yeah, again, still plenty of time, of course, for Rise Nation
Absolutely.
to get back into this, but you just kind of talk about the way maps normally go and just the different tides that a map can go in, and you got to be feeling good right now if you are a fan of Choche and the boys on Fire and Ice. So they're getting nice and aggressive on the early stage of this round. Again, we are in the longest spawns possible as we kick off the second half. Choche, King of Latin America, getting involved, getting that first blood. Shock trying to answer back. Shock's had a pretty good series so far. See if he can continue with a big fight. Misses one and Crystallize. Hits him with a nice shot and then the knife. Inzem gonna fall as well. It's 3 dead right now for Rise Nation. Fire and Ice sitting on all 3 hills. Detox falls to the King's hand. And Fire and Ice.
Wow.
A dominant start. 48 seconds later, have a stranglehold on this tiebreaker. Now on match point.
And it was Choche along with his teammate, right? He went for that OE off the rip. Didn't even focus on Bravo. Didn't even need to worry about that. Extended his way over for that home hill. Won that 1v1, and that opened the door for the trip cap. After 48 seconds, F&I now, really very quickly, could in fact take over this win and knock Rise out round number 1, which would, for all intents and purposes, we knew this round was going to be close, right? Last week, both of them finished off in semifinals. They got eliminated, but to finish off Rise, round number 1, that is a solid win, and definitely will instill some confidence pushing forward in the bracket. As now it's up to Rise to be flawless from this point forward, to be that Cinderella story and turn things around. They've got to win 4 straight rounds. If anybody could do it, though, it could be Rise. But it's hard for any team, and F&I has been playing so incredibly well. Let's see if they can replicate that success, that 48-second round from the one that we just seen. And it all started with that OE. Will F&I go for that OE again, or will they play it a little bit safer?
I'm going to get flashed, forced to back out. There's the first down. B-God tries to get the full kills and able to. Crystallize falls at the same time again. Shock's done a great job throughout this match. Can he continue forward? Because again, Rise Nation has such a large hill to climb, and it looks like so far so good on round number 6. That's 2 down for the members of Fire and Ice. That should give Rise Nation the E hill for pretty much free. You're going to see Detox kind of surveying around, using that very loud DB character surveying, so the whole map can hear him surveying. And you're going to see the members of Fire and Ice off spawn now, beginning to approach. Drix falls up top, and Raver can't say enough about the progression that he's had throughout the course of Gears of War 5 since its release. Just waiting for the next member of Rise to test him, waiting for someone to try to give him a challenge. As the counter push comes through, Fire and Ice hop on E, at least stop the bleeding when it comes to the time.
Still very early to stop that bleeding, in fact, as F&I should be able to retake the lead very shortly, within probably just about 15 or so seconds. So F&I will, in fact, just set up, try and lock down these lanes. I got to say, though, a very aggressive push from Raver. He's going to be over, kind of tempting that home hill push onto Rise's hill, and he is, in fact, going to be doing that. Drix is going to push back. He's going to be in that 1v2 situation. Avexi's will push up himself. And Raver will back up. He maintains his life, and he continues to fight. Dropped to all 4s, but that at least took 2 players from Rise Nation out of the fight for that neutral hill. But in the end, Rise still was able to retake it, but Fire and Ice, they're going to answer right back. Choche was able to take out Shock. In the end, Inzem is in fact going to silence him. Detox will silence Exploits. And it looks as if Rise is starting to retake control slowly but surely.
The kill feed, all blue. The time they need it most. This hill cap should give them the time lead within seconds. You're going to see Raver up top once again. Has done such a good job holding down this side of the map. They have the mark on him. They know exactly where he is. He's getting aggressive. Obviously, the players on Rise Nation know. You saw the mark. So they know exactly where he's coming from as he edges towards that home hill, which would be such a big play. He could at least get that break, get that party started. His team at Exploit's looking to join him. The first sets of flashes come through, and here he comes. Shock. End up being hit by that flash. There's a counter flash. There's the break. That's the first start, but they need to do more. They need to get some kills along with that break. You're going to see Shock, Drix, just lighting them up with the Lancer from both angles. Great teamwork coming in from Rise Nation. And Raver actually throws a nice inset as he falls. The revive comes through. It actually gives them the 2-cap, and they're actually still in position to win base on time. Fire and Ice looking to almost do the impossible. Inzem trying to stop them. He's going to get on the hills, and it looks like Rise are sitting on now all 3 hills, so a very, very good late push from Fire and Ice. Unfortunately, just falls short. Rise continue to claw away, trying their best to win this tiebreaker, but they still have plenty more work to do.
F&I just spread a little bit thin, unfortunately. Some great plays, some last-ditched efforts to make those breaks on the home hill, but they were putting themselves in 1v2 situations, 2v3 situations, and it's tough to win those. But still, a great fight regardless. But Rise, in the end, able to take it. But it just comes to show you, Rise, they're going to be able to win some rounds, but it's going to be close ones regardless because F&I is going to be fighting every step of the way. More utilities going to be placed. Those Botox down in the back. You love to see it, especially on the LATAM scene. Those are going to hit like a brick, and is in fact going to be Rise who's going to be the ones to be using that. So, hey, a little bit more firepower in their back pocket.
Yeah, both teams very, very healthy when it comes to the respawns. Rise Nation obviously a little ahead, but again, it's just both teams at 3 and 4. Plenty, you just see all the different pieces of utility getting picked up in that kill feed. So you got to imagine that E-Hill is going to be quite the sight throughout this round. Again, you always in these high pressure situations, right? Teams just waiting to see what their opponent's going to choose to do, where the first push is going to come through, who's going to get that first down. You're going to see Inzem getting nice and aggressive as he normally does. As the first down comes through, can he follow it up? He does. Looking to make it a second. He has some teammates near, but so does Inzem. Rise Nation getting very aggressive. Crystallized drops. Looking to get Biga in the process. I love the patience being used by Inzem, hitting perfect shots. The young star making it look easy as now Rise Nation continue to move forward. We're still on very long spawns. The Exploits hits him with an absolute house as he drops, but Rise Nation are still lighting up the kill feed, still moving forward.
Yeah, Rise Nation, good wins overall. To win that initial win, the mid portion of the round, and the F&I got the gears spinning, thinking, what do we need to do? What do we need to do to capitalize in this very moment to turn things around as Shock absolutely runs through Crystallize. He'll get dropped by B-God, but B-God, in the end, he's going to get finished by Detox. So overall, some nice trades, and Rise is usually on the better end of the deal. As we talked about, right, they needed to be flawless from this point forward, and they're doing just that. But we've seen F&I turn things around towards the later portions of the game, and it might be the case just here as B-God choosing to respawn in. That's going to put them at 1 of 4. Exploits will be at 1 of 4. Choche will be at 1 of 4, and so will Crystallize. And we talked about it going all the way back to the second round on Asylum. Rise Nation ended up losing to Fire and Ice. Why? Well, because their respawn economy tanked. And now the shoe's on the other foot. And F&I, they could be in a lot of trouble here themselves if they're not careful, especially if a couple of them lose their lives. Rise Nation could very well come back and win this game 3.
It's just the Raver drilling him with that active Lancer, but he knows he just cannot push forward enough. Crystallize on that E-Hill, but Rise Nation has built such a big lead. Fire and Ice trying their best. You got to be careful if you're F&I, right? Choche 1, Crystallize 1, B-God 1. We've seen this story before, Taylor.
Yeah.
We've seen a team with a lead lose it because of a respawn economy. Are we going to see that same song and dance right now on the side of Fire and Ice?
I think we might.
Rise Nation, the last thing you want to see them with is momentum. Team of young, still fairly young players, right? Obviously, very, very skilled across the board. And when you give skilled players momentum, it could be a scary sight. It was a dominant lead, right? A 4-1 for Fire and Ice, but things just seemed like they got so much closer, so much more intense. And now, to me, it just became anyone's game.
I'm not going to lie, and this is going to be a bold prediction, but I called it on Asylum, so I'm feeling confident. I think it's over. I think Fire and Ice just lost this. I think Rise 100% is going to take this victory 5-4. I think Respawn Economy just got away from F&I, and I think it's over. I think Rise is 100% going to take this game 3.
I think you just caster cursed them.
No, because I said the same
Rise
thing.
Nation fans.
No.
If they lose, you know why.
No, I said the same thing on Asylum. I said the same thing on Asylum.
Okay, fair.
Asylum. Fire and Ice was losing 4-2. Rise was up. Respawn Economy got away from them, and F&I took over the victory in the end, 5-4.
I think you caster cursed them.
That doesn't work.
We're going to find out soon.
Brother, I'm telling you. I think, look.
Rise Nation fans, if they lose this, you know who to go after.
Look, Rise Nation.
It's not your boy Ryan Fools, put it that way.
If they lose, it's gonna be rough because, I mean, they have 4 out of 4 lives. They're looking solid. They're taking control. Already, Raver's going to drop, right? That's just one piece of the puzzle. But regardless, though, seriously, I think Fire and Ice.
No, I mean, like I said, we saw it right in front of our eyes.
Went away.
We saw it right in front of our eyes on Asylum. Obviously, the shoe is on the other foot this time around. But again, I'm saying it's the power of the caster curse. So far, the things are looking good. The kill feed continuing to light up blue. B-God gets it down, but he's immediately traded out. Revive should come through as well. So far, so good for Rise Nation. Once again, Detox just gets absolutely drilled, but I don't think the F and I is able to get the full kill once again. Crystallize going to be dropped as well. Shock, unfortunately, chunks his teammate, but it's still should be fairly insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And now, Taylor, look at that. Choche 1 respawn, Exploits 1 respawn, B-God 1 respawn. You got to wonder now at the situations, even though it's early in the round, let's say a couple of these guys die. Do you spawn back in? Right? Do you risk it for one of these rounds, or do you just save it all for the tiebreaker?
I'll be honest, you save it for the tiebreaker. You have to start getting some lives in your corner. If you drop, don't fight it. Because if you go into the tiebreaker round, I mean, your respawn economy is already hurting. You're going against a powerhouse. I mean, look at, you're sitting at 4 out of 4 lives on the Rise side. I think you 100% give it up. And we're going to have to see if that mentality is going to be used. Choche now, if he chooses to respawn back in, he's going to be out of 0 out of 4 lives. You're already down roughly 60 points. And Choche?
He hasn't done it yet.
I don't think he's going to.
I'm keeping an eye on his respawn right now. I'm watching that more than the match.
Do it.
I think he's going to choose to see how this fight goes underway. Raver almost gets the 2. This is going to be a big, big swing right now in this round. That'll choose if Choche gets back in or not. Crystallize.
Choche came back in.
Gets 1, and he did. We talked about, is that fight going to result in him spawning back in? It looks like it has. I don't know if it was the right decision to make, because now you're going to see Raver not jumping back in, Exploits not jumping back in, the King respawning back in during a time where I just don't think he should have. Let's see if that has an effect now as we head to the final round, 3 in a row for Rise Nation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Fire and Ice, I know, would just be devastated if they lost on this again. Weren't feeling super good after the last Pro League match. Great opportunity to bounce back, to beat a quality team. You built yourself a lead.
They were up 4-1 at one point. That's what you have to think about, right? And just like our producer just said, I mean, it's true. Every single game between these two have, in fact, ended in a 5-4. We have went to a round 9 every single game
All
between
3.
Rise and Fire and Ice. And this is only round number 1 in our bracket.
That just shows you. Talk about these two teams. I mean, I kind of look at them as similar when it comes to their identity. Both teams sort of struggled, had a pretty poor San Diego placing, made a roster change, and have looked like they've elevated their levels. One just happens to be in the NA Pro League. One just happens to be in the LATAM Pro League.
But Emergence Days brings them
but
together,
Emergence
baby.
Days, we got plays for everyone, baby.
I love it. I love seeing these guys face off. And good start from Rise. Look at him applying that pressure forward. Exploits dropped. Raver, he's been able to hold his own in several moments. And in that very moment, he does get the drop on the Detox. And eventually the finish will, in fact, occur. But look at this. Enzim and Avexes will take out Crystallize and B-God. The fight, though. Raver, once again, is going to get dropped. A good win from Shock as he comes through. Managed to get the finish. And Fire and Ice, look at how far they are pushed back. Rise Nation is all up in the face of F&I. They're going for the domination. F&I, they don't have the respawn economy to continue to fight. This Rise can continue to throw bodies. It's the shortest respawn. F&I needs a miracle to retake
And look at this teamwork. Look at the Lancer fire from Rise. Shock gets a little over-aggressive. Managed to stay alive, but he is down. This could be a big swing right now for Fire and Ice. Raver once again making plays. Nobody on Rise can stop Raver no matter what spot of the map it's on.
Rise, you can't have this happen to you.
They're not out of this yet. Still plenty of time. But Fire and Ice, they're starting to fight for the trip cap. Raver is once again putting his mark on this team. 1, 2.
Oh my
Can
gosh,
he
Raver.
make it more? He decides to just stay back, play smart.
Nice
This young star can finish this round right here, right now. But Rise is there. Raver not moving for some reason. 2 members are down. 3 members are down. I don't know what just happened on my screen. But now Exploits is off the map. Choche's on 0. Crystallizes on 0.
I'm going to sit back down. Now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable.
But Taylor, Rise has full respawn still. It's a permanent 4v5.
Yeah, I know.
That looked like their chance.
I'm not going to lie.
I think that might have been it. I just don't know.
You talked about some caster curse, and I was getting real worried. Raver was looking like an absolute
Permanent
unit.
3v5.
Yeah,
that's the round. That's got to be it.
Jesus, did Fire and Ice make that interesting? I saw my life flash before my eyes. In the end, though, I think hold on now, don't.
It's a 3v3 now.
Hold on.
Oh, Raver falls though.
Raver does
looks
fall.
like I'm caster cursing more than you at this point.
All right, Exploit's going to be out Choche as well.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's
that bull talk's not what you want to see, and the Vex is in this new update's not what you want to see either in front of you.
I think that's going to be it.
And again, Rise can just continue to throw body after body after body, and now Raver, who's done so much the entirety of this match, is the last remaining member on the map for his team. Rise Nation, 4 rounds straight. Take the tiebreaker 5-4, clutching up when it matters the most. And you got to take your hat off to Raver for just making play after play. But in the end, it was the boys on Rise who came through.
And chat was talking about Raver too. We've been talking about Raver for quite some time. He's just that guy. He just plays well. He was clutching up. Such a good series between these two teams, Rise and F&I. 5-4 every single round. And some good comebacks too.